Welcome to your Optimal Personal Economy podcast with Justin Bennett. Your personal economy is your ability to create, protect, preserve, and utilize your wealth, your financial world. Justin will share strategies and stories to help you optimize your personal economy. Now, on to the show with Justin Bennett and co-host Matt Halloran.
Hello and welcome to another podcast with Justin Bennett. This is your Optimal Personal Economy. Today, we're going to dive into an industry standard that is quite frustrating, which focuses so much more on net new business, bringing new business in the door, instead of truly servicing the clients that you have already. Justin, philosophically, this is a big issue for you. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think that it's something that has been on my mind for some time now and likely will continue to be on my mind. And I think it's stemming back to this whole idea that you categorize or you title the industry that I'm in as the financial services industry, which has many different concentrations in different sectors. But, the financial services industry that I'm in and the focus that on the work that I do for clients, which is their planning, seems to me to very much center and focus on sales as opposed to service for many other people out there that might be putting themselves out there to be in the planning business. And, I only gather this based off of feedback that I get from my existing clients and just from informally talking to people as I'm traveling about my day. And I just, ask people questions that are questions that I think I'm asking them with intention and to try to understand genuinely. But people definitely the marketplace feels like it's definitely being sold a lot more than it's being serviced. And when that happens, the whole relationship is just not going to work long term. And so recognizing that in order for any business, not just in the financial business, but any business to expand and grow and thrive, you obviously need sales, whether you're in the coffee business, in the landscaping business, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a dentist, whether you're an accountant, whether you're selling widgets. I mean, whatever the business may be, you need sales to grow. And so that's obviously very, very important. But I think you can't lose sight of the fact that whether it be an old client, a big client, a small client, a medium client, you have to service them. And in order to service them, you need to make sure that you're spending a certain percentage of your day, a certain percentage of your week in those conversations with the realization that you're not going to necessarily have a sale with that conversation, but rather you're going to do the right thing and you're going to provide a service, you're going to provide a conversation to help the person continue to make changes or adjustments to their planning that they think are appropriate on an ongoing basis. And by the way, what people, I think, oftentimes overlook, Matt, is that when you behave this way, when we do this to the best of our ability and we're servicing clients and clients realize that and we're not selling them stuff, they start to really appreciate it. As a result of appreciating it, it strengthens the bond, the relationship that we have with them, and it leads them to want to share an experience with people that they care about and make an introduction. So we find that we get a lot of introductions as a result of it, and it becomes a pretty refreshing, cool, unique way to continue to grow and expand, and so that we're not always trying to, find ourselves in this sell conversation. At least when I'm a consumer, I can find myself identifying when that's happening, especially when I'm a consumer dealing with a business that I've been dealing with for a long time and have the ability to deal with that business for even a longer period of time. I can tell when there's that service angle versus that sales angle taking place between the business and myself as the consumer. So I just know that whether it be myself as a consumer or just talking to other consumers out there who are constantly being approached or are being or find themselves in relationships with people in the financial services, this whole idea of constantly being sold or constantly selling needs to stop, frankly. And I know that it's not going to stop on a universal basis, but I think if the industry can embrace this whole notion of being more focused on the service, which then leads to growth and leads to appropriate and prudent and responsible sales for clients to help them maintain and grow their planning, then it becomes a really good relationship.
Absolutely. And when you're always just trying to sell, right, you're not paying enough attention to truly what could be the needs because it's a go 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 thing, and it's also really exhausting. Do you mind maybe just spending a moment talking about the attrition rate that we actually have in this industry because they are so sales focused and not relationship and service focused?
Yeah, I think the intelligent, well-informed, well-educated, successful people out there who are consumers know that our financial services industry has a high turnover ratio with professionals that come into the business. I think it's a very rosy-looking business from the outside in, but from the inside out, people start to realize quickly that it's not as rosy as it may appear. In other words, it's just a very, very challenging business because you're dealing with people's money, you're dealing with people's feelings, you're dealing with people's loved ones, and it's not for everybody, and everybody's not for it. I think the idea is for people to realize that I think, Matt, it might be under 10% of the people that come into the business stay in the business long term. I mean, I hear all the time, yeah, my brother used to be that, or my dad used to be that, or my best friend used to be that. Or in some cases, we actually sit with clients and they're running a particular business not related to the financial services business. We've heard from time to time, yeah, I used to be in the financial services business, and that because I'm in the business, I truly want to understand why they're not in the business. And it doesn't mean that they didn't hit levels of success. It might just mean that they just don't have an interest in it. They thought they may have, and they tried it out, and they decided that it's not for them because they don't enjoy it. They're not happy, and they wanted to experience a more fulfilled life somewhere else. It doesn't mean that they failed or they were unsuccessful, but you hear it a lot. And I think a lot of people realize that they're exposed to people in their world that have also heard, hey, so-and-so used to be in that business. So it's a lot of used to be's.
And a lot of pretty depressed used to be's, to be really honest, because this is a business with your model that you're in it for the long term. So therefore, you might have to make some sacrifices on the front end in order to maintain these wonderful relationships. Justin, what any other questions I should have asked you, or what do you want to do to wrap up today's podcast?
I think it's not a bad thing if somebody figures out that they're not cut out for the industry, or the industry may not be cut out for that person, right? So it works both ways. So I want to just reemphasize the fact that it's not a matter of whether somebody failed or was successful, because that's not what it's about. It's just about experiencing whether or not the marriage, the fit, the relationship, the union between the industry and the professional is there or not. So I think people go into most relationships with the expectation that it'll be the right fit. As a result, they make assessments, they try to do due diligence and look into various things. But I think it's okay if things don't work out. But so often people in the financial services business start to see themselves going down that path of not being in the business long term, and so they resort to, hey, let's go into the sales business, not the service business. And when you're in the sales business, it becomes a vicious cycle, and it's definitely not the right long-term fix. And, it's not the right approach for the client, for the consumer to be receiving that type of relationship, that type of exposure. So we'll continue to stay focused on service. We do sales, we do marketing, we do compliance, we do all this other stuff, but I think we need a service, and that'll always be in our forefront.
And with that, Justin, thank you very much for your thought leadership on today's podcast.
Thanks, Matt.
If you have not subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe now button below. And if you know somebody who recently just talked to you about the fact that they just felt like they were totally sold instead of really somebody who is listening, make sure you share this podcast with them. So for everybody at Bennett Financial, this is Matt Hallard, and we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon. Justin Bennett is a registered representative of Park Avenues Securities, LLC, or PAS. OSJ 1150 Raritan Road, Suite 201, Cranford, New Jersey, 07016. Phone number 908-709-0020. Securities products are offered through PAS, member of FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. New York, New York. PAS is an indirect wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Bennett Financial Group LLC is not an affiliate or a subsidiary of PAS or Guardian.